Joe, you mentioned earlier about finding these pieces of private hunt. Do you get any tips for finding private for people? People always ask us that on here.
Yeah. I think you got to figure out where you. Well, I mean that's a big hole to dive down in that. I mean just over broad view, you got to figure out what you want to do and where you want to go. Like I want to shoot a 150, I want to shoot a 200, whatever it is. So you got to narrow down on where you want to go. And then I always start with listed properties. Like I'll go into, let's say it's, I don't know, I'll pick a spot I used to hunt, Petersburg, Illinois. I'd go into Petersburg, Illinois, and I would look at every real estate property or small farm that's for sale. And I would call that realtor and say, hey, the farm's for sale. It's July. You think he would lease the hunting on it until it sells? And you have a risk there, but that's a good place to start. You start with the lease or permission or whatever. I always start with, could I hunt it?
Yeah.
Until it sells. And if that doesn't work, then maybe, a trespass fee or a lease or whatever it may be. So that's where I'll start with the realtors.
So why the listed property? Why does it matter if it's listed or not? Or
because normally the ones that aren't listed, the guy –
I get you.
You follow me?
Yeah, they are probably already someone hunting it.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And so what somebody will do is say, hey, whoever's been hunting it, I'm selling the property, you can't hunt it anymore or whatever. Oh. And then you go in and say, hey, I want to hunt it, and I understand it's for sale, and I'm willing to take that. If you don't sell it, so that's a tactic that has worked. Another one is, and this may, this may be just simple, and a lot of guys would do this, but man, I would drive to the local diners, drive to the feed and seed stores, and just be the poor, pitiful South Carolina boy looking for somewhere to hunt, and before long you build relationships, with local farmers, and those diners are heavily overlooked, man. Yeah. There was one in Petersburg, Illinois that we used to go in, and every single farmer would meet there and complain about something and have their coffee in the morning. Yeah. And I would go in, sit down, have a conversation with them, and boy, what are you doing up here all the way from, I'm just looking for somewhere to hunt, and you'd be amazed at how you can get into different properties. Yeah. But it all goes back to the same thing, work. Yeah. You got to work for it, and they are out there. And I had a 29-acre tract in Illinois, and I shot three bucks on it, and I paid less than a truck payment a year for really? That property. And I shot a 160, a 186, and a 183 off of 29 acres in Illinois, and it was less than a truck payment. A monthly truck payment is what I paid for that. It was just a trespass fee to go in there. Yeah. So they're out there. You just got to work your butt off to find them.
Yeah, for sure. I have people probably tired of hearing this on this show, but I got a buddy that's he shoots traditional. He's shot a longbow since he's started. He never went away from it since the 70s or whatever. And he's killed a big game animal in 47 of the 50 states with it. And he swears every time he goes someplace to hunt, he goes to the local barbershop and gets his hair cut before he starts. And he's always like, there's always old farmers or whatever sitting in there talking.
Genius.
Yeah.
I'm adding that one to the list.
Yeah. And, that's what he said. He said, if I need it or not, I'm getting a haircut when I get to hunting camp. He's like, that's what I do. And he's like, I've done it like more than a dozen times. He said he's been someone in there. And he said it may not be direct, but it's like the barber knows everybody,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they'll give him numbers or call this guy or call this farmer. He'll have a place for you or, whatever. So that's what he does.
And you all, guys talk about knocking on doors and of course that works, but just that all of a sudden you have a connection. Yeah. Randy at the barbershop said, give you a call. You might have some hunting. Jim at the feed and seed store said you might let some guys hunt on your property. You all of a sudden have a connection there, and that's like calling those realtors. If you don't have the ability to go out there, you make relationships with 4 or 5 realtors in that area, and again, you're building relationships, and that's what it takes.
Yep.
Yeah, and that name drop holds a lot of value because oh, Jim Bob, I've known him all my life, and if he thinks this guy's kind of all right, then right. Sure, come on in.
Right, exactly. Something else is like if you let them know you're either just bow hunting or I'm just going to be here this week. You know, sometimes that's enough to. If you want to watch more videos, there's options here and here, and if you want to subscribe, you can just click right here.